Welcome back. I'd like to introduce Lynne Steward, who is the Director of Fund Development and Communications for the March of Dimes in Ontario, and Jean Blackwell, Stroke Recovery Association. Hello, ladies. How are you?
How are you?
Fine.
Thank you for joining our show.
It's great to be here.
I guess question, Lynne, is maybe you can tell people about March of Dimes.
Sure, and that's a question that can be a long or short answer. But the big news is that we're celebrating 60 years. March of Dimes has been around since 1951. Wow. And we're one of those rare organizations that's actually found a cure for polio. And since then, we've evolved into that we look after anybody who's physically challenged through direct service or education. So we really like to be there for people as they go through their changes and want them to lead to independence is a big thing we want to do.
Okay, and I'm going to go to Jean now. And you're a Stroke Recovery Association.
Yes.
So maybe you can explain a bit about that, because the two work hand in hand?
They do?
Yeah, we are stroke survivors, and we have a monthly meeting, and we have a speaker of interest to the survivors or their family. We also have a day out program every Friday morning where we come and make some play cards and chit chat and drink coffee and eat cookies.
So it's great. People don't have to be
They don't
at home,
No.
and I think that's what we're trying to get to the
Totally.
public in this show, is that homebound isn't something you need
No.
to be. There's always an out for
And we
somewhere.
also offer personal support. Like they come and see maybe myself or somebody else doing something they couldn't do. Like one hand tying up my shoe.
Right.
I've taught a few people how to tie their shoe with one hand.
Yes, it's a challenge. I've just got over 2 surgeries with one hand each 6 months, and I can appreciate that, because when you're, everything from showering with one hand, it's
It's
a
huge.
challenge.
It's
and
huge.
people don't realize that till they have it.
No.
So March of Dimes helps.
We
these
help
stroke
with that.
survivors?
Well, and I think, as Jean said, it's always your personal experience, right? In my own life, my dad had a stroke 8 years ago, and once again, I had no realization. Just everyday tasks that are so hard, whether it's eating, using the bathroom. It gives you such empathy for people. So March of Dimes, we care for people in their homes, or if they need an assisted device. We also help to modify people's vehicles or homes, because the government is really encouraging people to stay at home.
Right.
So we help with that. And if people are trying to get back in the workplace, we help with that. So, and as Jean said, we do a lot of what we call our peer support groups, which is because the socialization piece is so important, because I think that a stroke or any physical challenge can be you feel very alone. And so we really try to integrate people with a group. And I think one of the scary things about stroke right now is that it's affecting so many people younger. Oh,
Yes.
like I was at an event 2 weeks ago in St. Mary's, and there was a wonderful young woman who actually works here in London who may see this, but she was in her early 30s when she had her stroke. So we try to actually, because especially like I talk about myself, I'm 51, if I would have a hard time probably relating to a 31-year-old. So we try to actually form peer support groups that are sort of age appropriate,
Okay.
so that people that are having the same struggles, right, that are still having young children, and what do they do? So whole set of dynamics there you have to work through.
It is. I know my father, when he was in his mid-50s, had a huge series of strokes. And back then there wasn't really anything they could do for him.
I know.
They just said he has to go live through it. Now there's a lot more of getting people reacted. Even I think the hospitals are better, but there's more medicine they can give you right off the get-go if
they're
they
totally.
know.
Well, and it's crucial that first 48 hours, and if they can get you in that first 48 hours, can make such a difference, right? And I always think the scooter has liberated so many people right now. Now people don't even bat an eye. I always use an illustration of when people used to see someone in a wheelchair. It's probably when some of Jean's experiences, people used to, talk louder. But now people are like, oh, Jean, you're here. So that's tremendous, right? Because
Right.
people can get out, right? Because with the AODA coming out, with every place, restaurant, public venue is supposed to be accessible by 2020, people now can get out. Everybody gets out now if they want, right? That's the key piece.
Yes, and I hope our viewers understand this, because when we're all got everything functioning, everything's great and rosy, but when something happens, and it can happen to anybody at any time, there needs to be that support backup group,
totally.
and everybody helping each other.
No,
Like when I had my stroke, I had 2 children with me. And my daughter was 15, my boy was 9.
Wow.
And they adjusted really good. I can really say they were really good.
Well, it looks like you've adjusted well.
Well, when I had my stroke, I thought, well, I'm going to stay off work until September. Well, that was 37 years ago or something like that.
And you're still going strong.
Yes.
And I think that's the beauty of being able to talk to people that can show that they can get out and they don't have to just go in a corner and vegetate, where there's a lot of support groups out there.
Oh, there are.
March of Dimes. And I think March of Dimes, maybe it doesn't get the recognition they're due because there's so many nonprofits out there.
Oh, and there are, and you know, and I think everyone probably gets tired of the phone ringing or getting a piece of mail or an email now, right? So, what I always encourage people is that where you have an interest, that's where you should give, right? I always believe, because obviously because of my dad, I love March of Dimes because of the services it provides, right? And, you know, always, you know, because most charities are trying to do good things. But I think the big thing is go with a charity that gives in your community and is helping in your community. And what we get so often with March of Dimes is, oh, we know the name, long time ago. But, you know, recently we've had William Shatner's been involved with us. But a stroke story is that Brett, the Hitman Hart, is actually one of our spokespeople for our stroke program. He had a stroke as a young man, and people may or may not know him, but he literally was on his bicycle. And he fell. So he has done tremendous things for awareness-wise, because once again, it's showing you can come back.
Yeah.
You may not come back 100%, but it's not to give up. I think that's the biggest message. And that's easy to say, me sitting here, a healthy 51-year-old, but I've seen that if people have that approach, like Gene has had,
Gene is a perfect
life will continue, and sometimes a wonderful way.
You've got to get out and get going. You just can't sit at home.
Well, thank you, ladies. I really appreciate you coming on the show, and I hope people are more aware of March of Dimes and go on the website and look it up.
That'd be great.
Thank you again for coming to our show.
Thank you very much.
And we look forward to seeing you in the future. Bye.
Very much.
We'll see you in a few minutes.